Delilah's life is not picture perfect, but her friends step in to save the day. Let's talk about Season 2, Episode 5 of A Million Little Things right now on AfterBuzz TV.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Woo! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the A Million Little Things after show at AfterBuzz TV. I am your host, Maggie Clark, and I am so excited to be joined by the beautiful and talented A Million Little Things superfan, Jess Lucero. How you doing, Jess?
Guys. I'm doing great. So excited for you to be on our show tonight.
Thank you.
We're missing Yasmin,
Yes.
but she'll be back. She'll be back next week, guys. Don't worry.
She will. We miss you, Yasmin. She actually was on the panel with me last season. So if you've been with us now through last season, you may recognize me. So hi, guys. Good to see you all again and be back here at AfterBuzz TV. So we have a big show to talk about this evening. So we're talking about episode 5 entitled Austin because Katherine might want to move to Austin. But we're going to be talking about everybody's relationship. We've got Katherine and Eddie and their fun adventure at the open house. And of course, Roman, Regina, Delilah and her family. And we're going to wrap it up talking about Maggie and Gary. And of course, we got a little bit of news and gossip for you. So stick around for that, some predictions, and our very special segment entitled Little Things ABTV. So we got a good show for you.
Lots going on.
A lot going on. We also have our live chat going on. So if you would like to join in our conversation, please don't hesitate to give us your thoughts in the chat. We've got Jess there, and she's going to be chiming in and sharing all of your thoughts.
Exactly. Guys, tune in and chat it up with us. It's so much more fun when you come in and share some of your thoughts on it. So it's fun to chat back and forth. I was skimming through Reddit beforehand, so I'm kind of thinking about what you guys are saying on there. So hopefully you throw some of those wild comments onto our live chat
The
as well.
Reddit feed is very active.
It's so active. I love it. They're wild on there.
They are. Well, I want to talk about this episode. What are your overall thoughts, Jess, on this episode?
My overall thoughts of today's episode. So what's interesting is that it was titled Austin. So you would think it'd be very heavily based around Eddie and Katherine's relationship, and it was pretty heavily based on their relationship in this episode. But what I thought happened to be the main character throughout tonight's episode was Maggie, and she was going through a lot. It wasn't just one thing or another, but it was her and Gary's relationship, and then her and Eric's relationship, and her putting something in the mail, and her chatting with Delilah. She was all over the place. So that's what I took away from tonight's episode. There was just a lot going on there. I'm like, kind of want to be in her head. I want to know what's going on there.
I agree. It was definitely a Maggie heavy episode, which I think was expected,
Maybe
especially with maybe it's because of me, who knows? But it's probably because of all of the major fallout that happened last episode. And now she's just processing all of that, you know, finding out about, you know, her brother actually not dying instantly, and Eric having her brother's heart, and her mom lying to her for so many years. So she's just processing all these things, and also trying to figure out what life is like without cancer.
Yeah.
So she is dealing with a lot. She needs some therapy. She's a therapist, but she needs some therapy.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I know. But
Poor thing.
But yeah, I liked the episode. It wasn't one of those episodes where, oh my gosh, something big and crazy happened, because I think that was last episode. So this
for
is,
sure.
you know, unwinding some other storylines. I did like it. And that kind of brings us to our first topic of talking about Katherine and Eddie's relationship. So as we saw previously, Katherine is deciding to really give it a go. You know, her intern, her assistant kind of said, okay, if you're going to do this, you need to actually do it, you know, not just kind of say, oh, we're trying at this relationship. We're going to actually make this happen. So she's really putting the effort in.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, do you think that that's a good idea? Do you think that she made the right decision moving forward with Eddie? What do you think about this relationship?
Headed into, when I first joined this panel, I said I was not in favor of their relationship. I really didn't think that they should even work on it. Kudos to couples who are able to work on those types of relationships that have been so far broken by something like one of them cheating on another or whatever else. But that is something that is incredibly hard to work on. You've seen it, whether or not you've personally gone through it. I'm sure most people at this point know of someone who has gone through something like that, and it's just incredibly hard for them to get over that. So for Katherine to be able to be the bigger person here, and you could just see how hard she is trying. But this was the first episode where I actually saw Eddie trying equally as hard as her. I mean, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way when he was like getting heated up over Katherine looking at homes. She didn't bring it up to him for a reason. She said, you have a child out here, like I can't take you away from that. And so I'm glad he didn't get too fired up over it, but just seeing them actually bonding when they went and looked at that house, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm catching the Eddie Katherine feels right now. Do I want them to work out? I don't know. I'm a little shocked right now. I know. It's weird.
It's so hard, and I'm so with you there because I've been so torn over this situation because Eddie, I'm still so angry with him.
So mad.
Because, he cheated on his wife. He was unfaithful to her. And, now he has a baby with another woman, and it isn't just some other woman. It's somebody in their friend group, a part of their extended family. And just everything is so incredibly complicated in their relationship. And Katherine is an actual saint. Like, the fact that she has decided to make this work and put effort into this and give him another chance. They have so much trust that needs to be rebuilt. That is going to be a very long process. So I give her a lot of credit for wanting to make this relationship work for the sake of her son. But me personally, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I really don't think I could do what Katherine has been doing throughout this season because that is so incredibly hard. One thing that I noticed is Eddie, anytime Katherine is around their friend group, Eddie makes sure to, like, if he sees Katherine kind of being left out, he'll walk up to her and he'll make sure that she feels included. But at the same time, you haven't really seen much of Eddie with his baby.
Right.
And, like, these are the precious moments that he should want to be around that baby. And, like, we know he wants to be there, but it's still very awkward.
He can't be around too much because then
the kids don't know.
The children would find out. They'd be like, why is Uncle Gary here all the time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uncle
Like
Eddie.
he has to kind of have these boundaries.
Right.
But just my heart just bleeds for Katherine. She's such an excellent actress, by the way, because every time you see her look at Eddie with the baby, it's like you can just feel what she's feeling. You feel this like conflict and this grief over the fact that your husband fathered this child, but also feeling like you want to support him because he brought a life into this world and you love him. So it's just like this crazy conflict, and you see it all over her face. It's amazing. But I want to talk more about this open house situation. This was such a fun moment.
I loved that.
What did you think of their cute little playful act? They were Edward and Kat. It was so cute.
From Austin, visiting from Austin. I thought that was so cute. Honestly, like my favorite scene in this entire episode. Just because like, oh, it was so precious. He noticed something that was bugging her, and rather than being like, okay, let's move to Austin, Texas, because obviously he doesn't want to right now, he found a way to just still make her happy and make it up to her.
Right.
Oh my God, I just
to
love
let her
that scene
feel
so much.
Like she was starting over, that she did have this new life, this new adventure with this man that she was crazy in love with. And it was like, it was this playful, fun afternoon, and I'm glad that they had that. But wow, I was shocked to see that the two of them got it on in the walk-in closet. I mean, they are pretty ballsy. I mean,
I love that.
Wow.
I'm all for that because first off, they have been lacking in any sort of physical relationship for so long. So it's like, good for you guys.
Yeah.
But that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
I did not expect that at all.
That's kind of fun because it's kind of giving us a picture of what their relationship was like
right.
years and years ago
Yeah,
when they
back to
were
the table
very
scene.
exactly when they were very playful and couldn't get enough of each other physically.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're revisiting that if they are working
funny
on
that
the
you bring that up
relationship. Yeah.
because I remember whenever they flashed back to those scenes of the two of them kind of getting it on when they were younger. It almost seemed forced because we hadn't seen it in this day and age, I guess. So to finally see them like that now that they are at this certain age and after they've gone through what they've gone through, it was cool to see it, you know?
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet, so it was
cute.
like, oh, wow.
Well, on that note, everybody, Jess has a special message for all of you out there.
Yes, I do. So, guys, we just want to say thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. And in order for us to continue growing, we're going to need some of your help. All we need from you is to make sure to give us a thumbs up if you're tuning in on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Do not forget. And if you are listening on our podcast, don't forget to give us 5 stars, nothing less, because we are trying to give you our very best right here, guys. And don't forget to tune in to our live chat so we can chat it up with you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love it.
Yes, thank you, Jess. Definitely give us some thumbs up and some comments on YouTube and all the 5 stars on iTunes podcast,
Yes,
please.
exactly.
Yes, thank you so much, guys, for watching. We really appreciate you. So I know that you mentioned, Jess, that your favorite part of the episode was this, really cute open house scene.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of the episode was the moment when everyone took their giant family photo. This just, I was holding back the tears because this was so heartwarming because how lucky is Delilah to have this group of people that are her family. Like, she doesn't really have extended family. She doesn't have, siblings, and her parents aren't around, and her family, her support system are these friends and these people that were best friends with John and that her children know so well. And seeing them all support her in this family photo was so touching. And I think it was so meaningful for the children because Danny didn't want to take a photo without John. And they have to move forward. They have to start a new tradition, which is so important when someone passes away.
Right.
So what did you think of that scene?
I thought that scene was very strong. I also thought the one before that when they were trying to take the photo with just their family of 4, I thought that was really real and raw too, because you were able to hear Sophie say, something along the lines of like them needing to move on, but Danny saying, let's not forget him. And so I thought that was just great to finally hear them talk about their dad, because what I've noticed is we haven't really heard too much about John, which is how all of us began watching this entire show. We were brought into it with knowing that John decided to kill himself, and we haven't heard too much about that in season 2. So I want them to continue to bring that up, but going back to them now taking this photo, it warmed my heart when they showed up and everyone was there. But you know what else, going off of that and going to Reddit for a second, it's so funny because everyone's comments on there are, so do these people just not work?
I know.
Or are we agreeing that this is like the weekend? What's going on here?
I know. Seriously, like everybody can just drop everything. Nobody's in school. Nobody's at their job. And also, if Rome was at this commercial shoot, you cannot leave a commercial shoot. Like, we all live in Hollywood over here, guys, and you cannot just walk off a set.
Get up and go.
You cannot do that.
No.
So,
even if you're the director.
No, especially if you're the director. Right. And usually a commercial shoot is, maybe 2 days long, 2 or 3. So I don't know, maybe it's the day before the shoot, but then they would have been in pre-production. So I don't know. That part is definitely a little unlikely. And what about the restaurant?
Yeah.
The restaurant,
so
they were
many
like,
things.
Regina's like, I'm leaving the restaurant. Everybody, somebody else is in charge. So, but that's not the point. The point is that they show up for one another, they make sacrifices for one another, that they are there for each other when they're needed. And that's the theme throughout this whole show, is just being there for one another. And I love seeing that so much. It's some of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I agree.
When they all come together.
It was so cute to see that, because I felt like we hadn't haven't really seen a huge friendship moment in this episode, and that's something that I really try and look for throughout every episode. And so to finally see that all come together, where you saw the entire group and you saw all the little kids go down to the front row.
Yeah, even the dog, Colin.
Yeah.
He was there too.
All of them. And then Eddie, I like that he didn't make it awkward. Again, he made sure Katherine felt very welcome. He was holding her close, and Delilah was sitting with the baby. Like, it just seemed like the perfect way to have taken that photo.
Also secretly got the baby's father in the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think was important to Delilah.
Yeah.
So
I think that I almost wish that Danny would have taken the photo out, though, because he like just held up the wallet.
Yeah.
And it kind of seemed like, if you were gonna just go through that effort to hold the wallet, like, you just might as well hold up a photo of your dad or something.
I don't know. I think
he's a little kid, but
he just wanted to know that he was in the photo. So I get that. But back to what you were saying about John not really being in this episode, I've noticed that as well. And I'm wondering if the actor who plays John, his name escapes me at the moment, if his contract was not renewed for this season, because if you all remember in season 1, there were so many flashbacks with John in them. And I haven't seen a single shot of John in season 2. So I think that it's less about John and less about, the unraveling of John's story with the Barbara Morgan thing, which was what all of season 1 was about, and just more about these relationships and the lives of the people that are still living.
Yeah, but that being said, that's something that I would really like to see from the writers, from the directors, producers, everyone involved. I think it would be just really helpful to hear a little bit of backstory, hear a little bit more about John, a little bit more about Barbara Morgan, as you mentioned. And we want to get back to that PJ storyline, because he brought up some big old zingers on a couple episodes, a few episodes back. But like, we haven't really gone back to what he said. We haven't heard much about whether or not John is his dad, or whether or not John had an affair with Barbara Morgan. Like, we want to hear more about this. And so I'm hoping that within the next few episodes, they start to reveal a little bit more and sort of get back to that storyline.
I'm sure they will. And it's Ron Livingston. Now I remember. Sorry, guys, I was having a brain fart. But I would love to move on to talk about Rome and Regina. So, do we have a comment?
Yes, I'm dying.
Please
Side
share,
note, guys.
Please share.
Oh, I love this. Tech Romage. I'm sorry if I didn't say that right, but we have a comment from someone in the live chat. They said, "Hi, how far did they go in that closet? Was another baby made?"
You know what? That's a really good theory.
Wait a second.
Especially because that came up with Theo. He was like, "Oh, are you going to have another baby?
Are we going to have a little baby Emerson?" Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what was the name of this person?
Tech
Romage.
Okay, I think that's
you are
correct.
awesome. Thanks for being on it. We're gonna circle back in a couple episodes to this moment.
That's so smart. I didn't even think about that.
I could definitely see that happening. Yeah. and then Eddie will have 2 children in similar ages.
Oh God, could you imagine?
Okay, Rome and Regina definitely had a tumultuous episode, because as we all know, the 2 of them are having this conflict because Rome would like to be a father and Regina does not want to be a mother. So Rome goes ahead and directs this commercial, which he does for Regina, so she's able to pay back the loan for the restaurant, or begin to pay back the loan. And he completely changes the concept of the commercial at the last minute and makes it based on a real life situation that Rome and Regina had. And first of all, the commercial is great. Like, if I was, if it was a real commercial, I'm sitting at home watching it, I'd be like, oh, that's a cute concept.
That's fun,
ha ha ha. Like, how cute. This couple wants to start a family in their big Lexus SUV. But Regina does not like it.
No.
So if you were Regina and this was your life, how do you think you'd react, Jess?
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking about. I kind of felt, I feel like you can never say that someone is or is not overreacting, but at the same time, like, no one knows that this commercial is based on your life. So for that reason, I'm the type of person to just be like, whatever, go with the flow. It's not that big of a deal. But you don't know what exactly Regina is going through. And so I'm hoping that, again, so many things that I'm hoping we learn a little bit more about in upcoming episodes. But I really want to know why it is. we've all made our own guesses. We've made our guesses as to why Regina doesn't want children. But the thing is why is she getting so upset when he finds a way to channel this into, let's make a commercial about it. He kind of finds a way to find the positive light in it, I guess. But then she gets very mad, very upset with that. And to me, I still feel like she's slightly overreacting. I don't know. Is that rude for me to say? Is that like, oh my gosh, you don't have a heart?
Well, I don't know. I kind of am on Regina's side on this one, just because I feel like she's not overreacting. I think that it's just such a sensitive topic for her.
Very true.
It's her real life.
Right.
And it's almost like she feels
like an invasion of privacy. Is that it?
Not necessarily, because who cares if it's on TV? Exactly. People aren't going to relate it back to Rome and Regina because they don't know them, the majority of the country. But I just feel like she thinks that he is taking their real life marital conflict and, putting it out there. And it feels just gross to her. She just doesn't like that because it's a private conflict. So I understand her reaction. I don't know. But however, it's like, okay, real life inspires art.
Right.
So he was taking that situation. He was like, oh, this would make a really good commercial. But it's almost like the two people in the commercial were on board with starting a family. And in real life, Rome and Regina are not on board, both of them, with having a baby. So I think that she's like, oh, well, in this fantasy land of this commercial, he has his happy ending, but he doesn't have his happy ending in real life. So I think that that's the problem.
I understand that. When I guess I kind of forgot about how it went down. But okay, hold up. We have a couple of comments in the live chat, and I want to read these because these look like pretty good comments coming from Daryl Vaughn. First, he said, "Are Rome and Regina finally going to have a baby, or will they get a surrogate?" Well.
We don't know.
It doesn't seem like they're going to do either as of yet. We'd have to... That we're not going to find out for a couple of episodes, I think.
I just feel like I could see them adopting, if anything.
Yeah, because neither of them want to have that baby. They've already kind of made that clear.
I could see them adopting an older child.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he also says, "I know it's refreshing to see a woman on TV stand by her decision to not want a child, but I also don't want Rome and Regina to break up. There has to be some compromise, I hope." Mm-hmm. And that is, I completely agree with your point there. It's amazing to see that she's taking her stand and, she's standing by her decision, especially being that she's the woman, and we don't always see that on TV. So that's really cool to see. But I don't know how they could possibly compromise when it comes to you can't have half of a kid. You're either having a child or you're not, or you're adopting a baby or you're not, but there is no in between, like one of them is going to have to compromise. It's not like the two of them are going to compromise and meet in the middle. Like that doesn't happen.
Well, maybe Rome will discover that he is comfortable being an uncle, and taking care. Maybe he's going to be like, when he's not working, he's going to be the man nanny for Delilah's baby, and then at that point he'll get his fill and taking care of a child and loving a child. So maybe that's the compromise. Maybe he's just going to become satisfied with being a loving uncle to the many children of his friends.
That could definitely be it. It could also, there's also a slight chance that I'm wondering if Regina accidentally gets pregnant.
I don't know. They're probably pretty careful.
Yeah,
She's
sure
probably pretty careful.
There's plenty of ways to avoid that.
Yeah.
Especially if she doesn't want to have a kid. Mm-hmm. But that's the only way I could see them actually having one naturally,
Jess, what do you think of the conflict between Rome's parents and the way that they resolved their conflict?
Oh my God, I thought that was great, first off. Well, I thought the way Rome's dad went about giving her the gift was so cute at first. And then at first. Yeah. And then he oversteps his boundaries and insults her, and it's like, okay, well, forget it. I don't even want it anymore. And we all know that we have been there. when someone either like tries to apologize or tries to give you something, and then it's almost like they took it back. It's not special anymore. So that part was honestly so funny to me. But once he made it up to her, it took a minute to get there.
Yeah.
But it was so precious. And I'm glad that we got to see that side of them, because we've seen Rome's parents here and there, but not too much. We've kind of seen like the harsher side of his dad. So it was cute to see him get all dressed up and you know, talk sweet to her.
That grand gesture was completely necessary because he was just being a grumpy old man, grouchy, like, fine, I'll give you this cruise, even though we've been married for so many years. And it was just, he was taking the romance and the love out of their anniversary. Yeah. And Rome's mom was hurt, and she had every right to be. I would have felt the same way. So he needed to make it up to her, and he got all dressed up in his marine outfit, and he was very. Did you see how straight he was standing and like holding his hat? And it was very romantic because that's the man that she fell in love with.
Exactly.
So he was bringing it back to that, and he realized what a jerk he was being and apologized. So that was a nice moment to see that he realized he made a mistake and fixed it.
Yeah. I like how they say that saying, what is it? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Aww. And then he like went back, exactly like you said, went back to his old ways, it seems. And that scene warmed my heart. That was another of my top scenes from this episode. It was so cute.
So the meat and potatoes of this episode was really about Maggie and Maggie dealing with the fallout of everything that happened last episode. And gosh, I mean, all this drama with her mom and finding out that her brother's heart is in this stranger who is really cute and lives in the same town as she does. And we're seeing Maggie and Gary kind of grow apart. And it isn't because of Gary. Gary's been the same guy. Right. You know, he's been there for Maggie. He would do anything for Maggie. But it's Maggie that's changing, and Maggie needs to find out who she is without cancer, and she also needs to process this new information about her beloved brother. Yeah. What do you think, Jess, about this growing relationship between Maggie and Eric?
Oh, it definitely weirds me out a little bit. It makes me... More than anything, it just makes me sad because I love Gary and Maggie together so much. And you can see how hard Gary is trying to keep their relationship to where it's not, he wants to keep it progressing more than anything. But she says she needs a break and she needs to do it on her own. But yet she's not doing it on her own. She's just going from, not necessarily from one guy to the next, but she isn't doing it on her own. She's going off and hanging out with Eric and doing these things that Eric is telling her to do. And it's like, I think it could potentially be because when during the whole time that she was with Gary, like she mentioned, she was sick and she was trying to get better and focusing on that. Whereas since she's been with Eric, she hasn't been sick at all. And so maybe she just kind of feels like a different person when she's around him, which is understandable.
He doesn't know her as a sick person.
Exactly. So he doesn't see her like that. Whereas Gary, when you go back to his group, the breast cancer survivor group, he talks about how he could potentially relapse and get cancer again. And I'm sure he's treating Maggie like this little delicate princess compared to the way he would treat someone else who hasn't been through something like that. So it's understandable that she wants to be around other people, but it just makes me feel uncomfortable that it's a guy and that he has her brother's heart, and it's just weird.
And like last episode, Gary saw the two of them hugging. Yeah, and you know, at the airport.
To him, or not necessarily lying to him.
She's just not telling him things.
She's not telling him everything.
Yeah. So Gary saw the two of them hugging at the airport, and then, you know, he goes to this open mic and he sees that she's there with Eric. Yeah. You know, and it's like, I kind of feel like Maggie is going through exactly what her mom went through when she first started a relationship with Eric. Her mom so desperately wanted to get to know Eric because he had a piece of Chad.
Right.
And Maggie is all of a sudden like, I desperately want to get to know Eric because he has a piece of my brother. So it's like they're trying to hold on to the living part of Chad. And part of me feels badly for Eric because I'm like, my gosh, like, you know, this man, he got this new heart, but he didn't realize that along with the heart, he was getting all this baggage. You know, he was going to have to deal with so much family drama of the people who had the heart, you know, before the family of the previous owner of the heart.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know, but he seems to be dealing with it well. He's very kind, very nice, but it seems like Maggie's starting to play with fire a little bit with spending a lot of time with Eric because he's like a good-looking single guy who's also experienced loss in his life, and they have a lot to talk about, a lot in common. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about this.
Do you think it's platonic, or do you think that she's interested?
I think it's platonic now, but it seems like it's heading in the direction of becoming more than that.
Right.
And I think Gary sees that, and it's worrisome. Also, I would love to point out the fact, if you guys didn't realize while watching the episode, that was actually Maggie singing the song.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Allison Miller, she's a musician. And if you guys remember from last season, Allison Miller, wrote and sang a song that was featured in one of the episodes last season. I can't remember what it was. Or maybe she didn't write it, but she sang it. And it was just absolutely beautiful. Yep. She has a gorgeous voice. And I'm just, you know, so happy that they're featuring her talents on the show outside of acting because she's wonderful.
Exactly. I completely forgot about that little tidbit that you mentioned from last season. But seeing her actually perform in this episode was like completely different, you know?
Yeah.
And even though it was a smaller open mic night type of thing, it was just, she did such a great job. It was cute that she told Eric that she wanted him to sit front row, but also like she's forcing everything, or I don't think she told him. I think he offered to sit front row.
He said he would.
But still, it almost feels like this whole relationship is almost being forced together in a way where they're like trying so hard to fill this void.
The role that the brother played.
Yeah, it's just feeling a little too much for me.
Well, we have a little bit of news and gossip we're going to move on to.
We do.
Yes.
Finally, we can breathe. I feel like that was so much that just went on.
It was. So, first of all, I'd like to share that if you are not following Christina Moses, who plays Regina, on Instagram, you definitely should. She has a brand new movie out. It is called How We Met, and it's streaming on Amazon Prime Video, Hoopla Digital, and Visit Dreamscape. And wow, she said that she filmed it back in 2014. So it's a labor of love, and she's really excited that it's now released. So check it out.
Awesome to have to go through working on something for that long and just waiting for it to come out. Also, guys, I mean, I'm not going to try and get your hopes up, but also, like, I want you all to keep coming back. So just a little tidbit, we might be getting Christina on our show. Ooh. If not physically, we're going to have her try and at least Skype in something or other. So I know that that's probably getting you very excited.
Yes.
So we'll see you next week for sure.
She is a fan of AfterBuzz TV, and we've communicated with her. She's great. So hopefully we're going to get her in studio.
Yep. Excited for that. So moving on to the next piece of news. DJ Nash, if you guys don't follow him, he's the creator of A Million Little Things, and he's always live tweeting for every single episode, and so he's a great follow on Twitter. Tonight he tweeted, the commercial story is a shout out to my wife, who is always so cool with me telling our stories. It's cool, right, honey? I thought that was hilarious because he's literally putting this on the show and then tweeting about how we put it on the show.
Yeah.
And
art
it's controversial.
imitates life.
Yeah, like you said. I mean, I'm wondering if she's actually so cool about him doing this. Probably not. But anyways, I would love to know which parts of this season.
I don't think we'll ever know. I'm sure he's going to keep that under wraps.
Yeah. Okay, and then moving on to the next little tidbit from his live tweets today. He said, I am honored to have, and then he tagged Angela Trimber and the other breast cancer survivors on our show tonight. You inspire us all. We hope we have told you, one more time. We hope we have told your story with heart and humanity and a bit of humor. I thought that was very cute.
I think that is wonderful that they cast breast cancer survivors as extras in the support group. I think that, it's so important to shine a light on these strong warriors that are fighting and surviving breast cancer. And I think that that's really special that he did that.
Yeah, more than anything, I've always thought that this show does an incredible job of shining light on topics that not a lot of other shows typically want to talk about. They're almost walking on eggshells with these topics, but they do it in a great way. As he said, even with a little bit of humor, even though obviously cancer is nothing to joke about, but it's almost like Gary's relationship with everything, where he always tries to make everyone smile a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Aww. So it's cute. I like it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to dive into our special segment. So if you guys have been watching our after show, what we like to do here is highlight a little thing from the show, that a little lesson that we like to take from the episode that we can carry into our everyday lives. Exactly. And if you would like to share your little thing with us, you can use hashtag #LittleThingABTV. All right, so Jess, what's your little thing today?
This music always sets the mood for this part. All right, so my takeaway is it's the little things, and I thought that was very fitting. Basically,
wait, is that your little thing?
Yes, that is my little takeaway.
I love it. That was
the
great.
Little things, because I'm someone who values the little things in life. So just when Eddie tried to make Katherine feel a lot better by showing her that house and that whole scene, like I said, that was my favorite scene in tonight's episode. I thought they did a great job of making it so realistic and like playing off of each other, kind of fake names, and making up where they were traveling from. Like, it was cute to see them actually bonding.
Yeah, it's important to have fun and flirt in a relationship, and
it was just a different side of them. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a good one.
What was yours?
Mine was similar, but I'm going to change it. So my little thing is to remember to celebrate the milestones. So thinking about Rome's parents celebrating their anniversary and how important it was to Rome's mom, and it wasn't that important to Rome's dad. It is so important for us all to remember to celebrate milestones, not just for ourselves, but especially for one another, and to realize how special that makes them feel to have those milestones recognized, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, a promotion, a new baby, a house, anything. Just a congratulations and an acknowledgement of that goes a long way.
I love that. That's huge. Like you wanna celebrate other people's accomplishments in the same way that you would want them to accomplish yours. Or I don't know, maybe you're not like that, but that's something that I've learned recently, and I think that's big of people who are able to celebrate it in that way.
So let's do some quick predictions. All right, what do you think is going to happen for episode 6?
There's going to be a lot of things going on that I don't think I really want to go on, unfortunately. Yes. Okay, so I think Maggie and Eric are going to continue to get closer. We saw that a little bit in the preview. We saw Maggie and Gary sort of talking about things between the two of them, and I don't think that they're going to do so hot in next week's episode.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I don't have a prediction right now, and I really tried, but I want to know what Maggie mailed. And I'm trying to think. So do you have one?
I do, but I mean, the only thing I could think of is that I think that because we saw her throw away her funeral arrangements in the trash. I feel like she may have had another copy of the funeral arrangements, and I think she mailed them to, I don't know, her dad, or maybe to her attorney or somebody, just in case something happens. She wants somebody to have a copy of her funeral arrangements. I know I don't like it either, but that was the only thing I could think of in the moment.
I was really hoping it was positive.
We did see that Maggie may have lost Colin, Gary's sweet dog. So I do not think that this is going to break their relationship. I think that they're gonna have a rough episode, but I don't think it's going to end it.
No, but I think something might.
Well, we'll see. Well, you guys will have to tune in with us next week so we can talk all about episode 6. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so appreciative that you guys watched our show and joined us here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm Maggie Clark, and you can find me at Maggie Clark on camera on Instagram and at Maggie on camera on Twitter. And Josh, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at Jess Lucero live on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to join in so that we can chat it up again next week.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great week. Bye.
guys.
Buzz you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.